And I'm going to give you a quick overview of week number 6, which is going to cover chapters 11 and 12 for this week. We are getting down to the last 2 weeks of our semester, so you have a lot of work to do these last 2 weeks because you also have your final presentation you should be working on, and then you'll have a final exam, but that final exam has a practice exam with it, so it'll be available beginning next week. So let's just get ready to go over chapter 11 and 12 and give you a quick overview of what you're going to be looking at. So what is due this week? First of all, you have chapter 11 and 12 that you're going to be working on. You will have Learn Smart for both chapter 11 and 12. You will have a quiz for both chapter 11 and 12. Now, one thing about the quiz that's going to be a little bit different than the previous one is it's going to, chapter 11 will have 10 questions because there are no financial questions for chapter 11. So there'll be 10 questions for chapter 12. And then again, you will have only, well, chapter 11 and 12 financial questions are combined because I couldn't come up with 5 that I felt like that were relevant to both chapters. So that's what is due. You will also make sure that these are due next Sunday by 11:55. One thing I want to do is I want to talk about these couple of these investment apps, since chapter 11 and 12 are dealing with investments. Now, one of them that I like is called Stash. It's right here. And then there's another one that is called Acorns. In my on-campus class, I had my students that wanted to go into Stash and set up an account. Stash offers you stocks for as low as $5, and you can kind of watch them and see how they're going and see how you react and different things like that. I did have a student that actually bought one stock of some type of a cannabis oil, and within 3 weeks he had made $3 and something a stock, and he was so excited. And that's what I want to see, is I want to see you get excited about investing. Don't go overboard and try to invest everything you make. Just start kind of small until you get the hang of doing some trading. And again, if you use one of these 2 apps on your phone, you can do a $5 stock. Those are called penny stocks. And again, it just helps you get your feet wet on whether or not you feel like that you can do investing into the stock market, or if you just want to stay with your 401k. Okay, this week for your discussion board, it's the question is after reading 11 and 12, investing in stocks and bonds, you have inherited $50,000 from your great-grandmother. She stipulates that you can only use to invest it for your retirement. What would you invest in, and how much would you invest for each category? Last semester, I had a young man that actually took his $50,000 and took half of it and invested in rental property down on the beach. I didn't have that in mind when I was talking about when I did this question, but I did allow it because it is investment. It is work having investment property, but it is an investment. So if that's what you want to do, then that's fine with me. Again, make sure your original post is 200 words and you have a citation referenced in APA format. And then again, you must reply to 3 of your classmates with a post of around 125 points by Sunday night. The case study is found on page 378 and 379, and I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but this is just to make sure that you see the right case study. And then the questions are on page 379 of your book, and you would make sure that you answer each one of these questions individually with around 125 words. And finally, 2 more weeks. So get that final presentation, get it together, look at it, make sure that you know what you're doing. So that is just a quick overview of chapters 11 and 12 for week number 6. Thank you and have a great evening.